The reason I use that as an introduction is that when Voyager was launched, we had no idea about the probability that there may be other civilizations out there in the universe. We still have no real idea. For all we know, we could be the only civilization, certainly in this local part of the universe. There's no sign of anyone else out there in the Milky Way galaxy, although we've begun to look with radio telescopes. That's interesting. That, I would argue, conveys a great responsibility on us to progress as a civilization, not to do something ridiculous, like destroy ourselves. But what we have done since the 1970s is got closer to answering the question, how many worlds out there might be able to support life? Is there anywhere there that might be able to support a civilization? And there is a spacecraft called the Kepler Space Telescope, which has been answering that question. Kepler does something very simple. What it does is it sits there and looks at stars, one after the other. And what it looks for is a characteristic dip in the brightness of the star, a dip that repeats over and over again. The interpretation of such a dip is that, as you see there's a planet passing across the face of the star. Now, as I said, in the 1970s, we had detected no planets beyond our solar system. So although we thought there may be planets out there, it was possible to say, well, no, maybe not. Maybe solar systems are rare. What Kepler has done has found thousands of planets around thousands of stars. The number is of order 2,000 planets now beyond the Sun. Including this system, the so-called Kepler 62 system, which has two planets which appear to be rocky, Earth-like planets, and orbit at the right distance from a star to support perhaps liquid water on the surface, potential second Earths. This is an artist's impression of what one of those Kepler planets might look like. So now we can do statistics. We can say, in a scientific sense, how unique is the Earth? How many solar systems are out there? How many Earth-like planets might there be out there in the Milky Way? And the number is quite staggering. The number is 20 billion. 20,000 million potentially Earth-like planets out there in the Milky Way. That's about 1 in 10 of the stars in the sky that you can see and that you can't see out to the edge of our galaxy may have a planet that's capable, at least, of supporting life. That's capable, at least, of supporting a civilization. And what I just wanted to say, that this is a bit of a look into the future as well, is that we're now at the stage where we can analyse the light from those distant stars as it passes through the atmospheres of those distant planets and look for the composition of the atmospheres. So we can look for signs of oxygen in the atmosphere, which would tell us there was photosynthesis present on that planet. We could even, some optimistic astrophysicists have said, look for signs of industrial pollutants. So if you looked at our atmosphere from afar, then you would see our civilization. You would see molecules in there that couldn't get there, other than through the operation of heavy industry. So it's just possible now that we might be able to detect the presence of life in terms of oxygen, which comes from photosynthesis in an atmosphere, or just possibly on the outside, remote chance, evidence of intelligent life by looking at the atmospheres of distant planets. Very new field in astronomy, but extremely exciting. Now, so I've given two examples of experimental physics there. The great technological achievement of the Large Hadron Collider, the discovery of the Higgs particle, a fundamental shift, really, in our understanding of the early universe, and the search for, well, planets beyond the Earth, and possibly the beginnings of a search for extraterrestrial life. There's another way of doing science, which doesn't require big investments, doesn't require big machines, doesn't require spacecraft. It requires just thought. It requires just imagination, a sense of possibility, if you like, and maybe a sprinkling of genius.